From CBS3 Duluth, this is the CBS3 News at 6.
Good evening, I'm Kristen Vaki. Thanks for joining us. The Greenwood fire near Isabella is spreading rapidly this evening, prompting a new round of evacuations. This photo from Superior National Forest officials shows the moment the fire spread west, jumping County Highway 2, triggering new evacuations, this time on Stony Lake and Sand Lake. The fire is burning near Isabella, now 4,700 acres in size. Mapping of the Greenwood fire shows it burning very close to homes and cabins, although we've not yet received word of any damage to structures. More than 100 homes and cabins have been evacuated so far. Around 320 people are involved in the firefight, many of them traveling from other parts of the country. Officials say it could be weeks before there is any containment on this fire and potentially months before it's out. CBS3's Alexander Libby is at the scene of the Greenwood fire near the Stony River for us tonight. Alex, you've been there for a few hours now. What have you been seeing?
So, Kristen, over the past hour that I've been at this intersection, I have noticed the wind gusts seem fewer and not as strong, but it is still windy out here. I'd say winds sustained 5 to 10 miles per hour, gusts at times as high as 15, and obviously that's not good for the fires at all. We're seeing a lot of smoke here. You can smell the smoke. Obviously behind me, this is Highway 1. The road has been closed. There's 2 sheriff's cars and 1 forest server here, kind of acting as a checkpoint for people trying to come into the closed road. Since I have been here, there has been 1 car that has been trying to get in to try to save their camper, and then I have seen a truck that had a trailer on it that was trying to, it got out of, it was coming from this direction where the road was closed. It had a refrigerator and a lawnmower on the trailer. So conditions here aren't getting really any better. I also have seen 2 large jets that have been dropping water. They look to be about the size of a passenger airline jet that you see at the airport. So definitely there's a lot of firefighting going on here, and this smells like smoke. The smoke is extremely strong, and it's definitely some serious situation out here. I'll send it back to you, Kristen.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll continue to keep folks updated on those evacuations. Thank you so much, Alex. Well, here's evidence of just how bad the conditions have gotten in that area. The photo on the left was taken Monday when our reporter Kendall Jarbo was at Highway 1 and New Tomahawk Road. Then the photo on the right is the one Alex, who we just spoke to, took today while at that very same intersection. Progressively worse smoke and worsening air quality along with it. And with that, we're joined by meteorologist Peter Kavakauskas. Peter, just very clear visual there of how bad those conditions are getting.
Yeah, in case we need any further evidence, we can actually see the smoke plume on satellite and radar right now. Taking a live look at just right around where Alexander Libby was, Stony River there. You can see that smoke plume on satellite and radar right now. That is that green. That is not rain. That is actually a smoke plume from the fire. And that is not the only thing that we are tracking throughout the night tonight. We are also talking about the potential of some possibly severe storms. And you can see some rain showers as well as thunderstorms off to our west. That's also where we find a severe thunderstorm watch in place until tonight at 10 o'clock. And then also just north of the fire there, we have that air quality warning in place until Monday at 3 p.m. That was extended from today until Monday. Would not be surprised to see that extended further and further throughout the week. Currently in Duluth, though, we're looking at 85 degrees with that south wind still breezy at 15 miles per hour. And temperatures across the region right now, you can see the rain showers beginning to progress further west, 70s out west where we see rain, as well as 80s the further east you go. Also, just a quick note that the movies in the park has been canceled as rain showers continue to move in across the region. We'll track out those storms as well as take a closer look at that weekend forecast in just a bit. Kristen.
All right, thank you, Peter. Today, forest officials told us 120 more firefighters arrived to help battle the Greenwood fire. That's on top of the many who have been fighting the blaze all week. That includes a handful from the Lakewood Volunteer Fire Department just outside of Duluth. CBS3's Quinn Gorham caught up with some of their crews to learn how they're doing their part to stop the fire.
Firefighting isn't Jimmy Thompson's normal day job, but this week he's doing it full time.
I mean, I'm taking vacation to go up there and assist family, friends that I don't even know.
Thompson usually works for the city of Duluth, but this week he's been helping the Lakewood Volunteer Fire Department battle the Greenwood fire almost 2 hours north. And Lakewood Fire Chief Kurt Rogers says he isn't the only one.
We're fortunate enough that most of our employers supported that effort, and were able for us to do that through most of the week.
For a lot of those volunteers, that work hasn't been easy. The Lakewood Fire Department crews leave the station around 5 p.m. so they can help battle the flames, often from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. the next morning. Then, many of them rest and do it all again. Rogers says it's a difficult and exhausting sacrifice.
It's challenging, to say the least, because your normal ways of dealing with your employers and your families. Now you just turn the whole thing upside down.
But to firefighters like Thompson, those long hours are worth the struggle.
We do it because we want to. We want to help out the community. You know, no one around here is making it rich.
And seeing the community's response is all part of the job.
It's pretty cool when you're going down the road and you get everyone waving to you and throwing you the thumbs up. You know, it's really nice to see support and appreciation out there.
Chief Rogers said his department received a little more than $144,000 from FEMA to help as they continue to battle the fire. Meanwhile, the whelp fire is growing near Sawbill Lake, now up to 25 acres. Forest officials closed even more of that area this afternoon, cutting access to 27 lakes in that region of the Boundary Waters. They described it as a fast-moving surface fire. Because it's so remote, they haven't been able to send in firefighters just yet. Instead, planes have been dropping water on the fire. And a wildfire burning near Britt is now fully contained. The Moose Lake fire started Wednesday and has burned about 25 acres. Several crews are still on scene, making sure there are no flare-ups. With multiple fires continuing to spread and some pushing people out of their cabins and their homes, many are without basic necessities. CBS 3's Alex Libby caught up with an Iron Range thrift store trying to help.
Northern Frontier Thrift Store here in Babb is giving away everyday items like clothing, essential items, and school supplies for those displaced by the fires burning all across the state. Carly Ivancevich has owned Northern Frontier's thrift store since 2019. She says the community has been so great during the past few years donating their unused items. Ivancevich says in high school she had a very close friend lose everything in a fire and knows how hard it can be. She says giving away necessities to those at risk of losing their homes or cabins is the least she can do.
Because I want to give back to the community that supports me, and I want, you know, if they're bringing me the funds, I don't want this just to be a profit business. I want the funds to go back into the community. That's how I believe it should work.
Ivancevich says donating to her thrift store has exploded since the start of the pandemic, so there is plenty for anyone in need. Donating and helping the Iron Range community is nothing new for Ivancevich. Coming up tonight at 10, we hear more what her little thrift store is doing to help.
In Ely, a cafe has also shut its doors to the public in order to focus entirely on feeding the firefighters who have come from all over to fight a handful of those wildfires in our region. Well, new at 6, a car hit a tree in Cass County today, igniting a grass fire and sending 2 people from Superior to the hospital. It happened just after 2 this afternoon on Highway 200 in Pine Lake Township. The State Patrol says the car went off the road and hit a tree. That impact is what apparently started the grass fire. No word on how big that fire got. The driver and the passenger, both from Superior, had non-life-threatening injuries and were taken to the hospital. A Minnesota judge is weighing whether to allow guns on the state fairgrounds for those who have a permit to carry. The Minnesota Gun Owners Caucus asked the judge to issue a temporary pause on a rule that prohibits guns on the grounds. Gun owners argue the ban violates state law and the Second Amendment. But fair officials argue they have the authority to protect the safety of visitors. The judge said she'll rule before the fair begins next Thursday. President Biden says there will be time to second-guess the way he handled pullout from Afghanistan. But right now, the U.S. is focused on one mission, getting tens of thousands of Americans and Afghan allies to safety. The scene outside Kabul's international airport remains chaotic. Flights have resumed after an earlier pause when the processing facility capacity. In his second speech on Afghanistan this week, President Biden said the U.S. will finish its withdrawal after evacuation efforts are complete.
We'll use every resource necessary to carry out the mission at hand and bring to safety American citizens and our Afghan allies.
The president and other administration officials say they are still trying to get an accurate count of how many Americans remain in the country as they work to open more third country locations to process the evacuees. The heartbreaking images from the Taliban takeover of Afghanistan are taking a toll on some Afghan refugees who now live in Wisconsin. Emily Fannin spoke with one Wisconsin refugee who offers advice for newcomers.
It was kind of a challenging time for us. Everything was new.
Starting a new life in a new country for Abdullah Amin and his family wasn't an easy transition. Born and raised in Kabul, Afghanistan, Amin eventually decided to leave his country in 2014, where he was working for the U.S. State Department.
It was totally changed. So it was not a good place for us.
After qualifying for a special immigrant visa, Amin was connected with social service agencies in Wisconsin. He now lives with his wife and 6 children in Waukesha. He says he feels lucky to have left the turmoil in Afghanistan, but now fears for his relatives that remain there.
I do communicate with them like regular basis, but they're shocked, sad, and terrified. So there's nothing I can do for them.
Amin is now sending a message of hope to refugees who resettle in Wisconsin, a process he admits was extremely difficult at first, but eventually rewarding.
They might be shocked for a few months, but after that, everything will be good. But just keep patient. After a year, you're a part of this community. You have to contribute to this community. Work with a community member. Find some connection.
Amin added he hopes all Americans and refugees who want to come to the United States make it here safely. Still to come on Live Local CBS 3, a big fundraiser for the Boys and Girls Club will not happen this year. How the worker shortage plays into it next.
And satellite radar shows storms just beginning to enter the Northland right now. We'll track out those storms as well as take a closer look at that weekend forecast in just a bit.
Get your news on the go, the CBS3 mobile app. Cracks in brick, cracks in block, call DBS. Leaning or bowing basement walls, call DBS. Sticking windows or doors, call DBS. Settling or sinking foundation, that's right, call DBS. It's a fact. Foundation problems don't get better with time, but they do get better when you call DBS. Call DBS today.
If all of this makes you happy, then you'll be happy to know that all of this is only $1 each at Arby's from 2 to 5 every day. Hope you like happiness. Arby's, we have the meat.
When we ask you to shop Prime Appliance, we want you to experience a real appliance store where we have hundreds of brand name appliances always ready to go during our in-stock sale. Like this Whirlpool 20 cubic foot smudge-free stainless French door, only $19.44. Or get this deluxe extra large capacity GE laundry pair, only $15.98 with an electric dryer. Financing and delivery always available. Prime Appliance, it's a real appliance store and the best place to buy your appliances. Let us prove it to you.
Tripling up on the Rock Friday night, September 24th, as Black Bear Casino Resort presents Rock the Outer 3 with Skid Row. And welcoming special guest Warrant. Plus Steelheart. Tickets available at the Players Club or online at blackbearcasinoresort.com. Make the Bear your place to rock the Outer with Skid Row, Warrant, and Steelheart.
Coming up Monday on CBS 3 this morning as the school year starts, we have tips on the importance of checking in on your kids' mental health in our weekly Eye on Lifestyle. So wake up with me and meteorologist Caitlin Moffitt at 5 a.m. Monday.
Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3. You saved me. Dad?
Are you okay?
I'm fine, dear. Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
Hello, house guest.
Oh, we're in the Big Brother house!
This competition starts now.
Let's do this. Like a ninja.
I am just the Hot Mess Express.
I got choked up a little bit.
The pressure is turned up. Oh, I'm coming in this house to win.
I won. New Big Brother, Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday, or stream anytime.
I'm so excited.
on CBS. CBS News Sunday Morning with Jane Pauley on CBS.
The CBS Evening News with Nora O'Donnell. Weeknights on CBS.
So far, another warm and dry day for us here in the Twin Ports. And you can also see the camera shaking behind me. Another breezy day at that, with winds out of the south between 10 and 15 miles per hour. High temperature at Duluth International, 85 degrees. No rain so far. We may see a few hundredths of an inch of rain before the midnight hour, though. And that's why we see a severe thunderstorm watch in place for the western portions of the Northland until 10 o'clock tonight. We'll begin to see those thunderstorms gradually enter the area, say, within the next hour or so. And they're probably in the far western portions of our area right by 9 o'clock, entering the Twin Ports probably between midnight and 1 a.m. This is the Storm Prediction Center's guess. Marginal risk for the area highlighted in green, so a level 1 out of 5. Area highlighted in yellow is, slight risk there, level 2 out of 5. So the best shot of severe weather is off to the west, because as the storms begin to progress further east, they'll weaken with less daytime heating. Satellite radar shows that there are storms indeed off to our west right now, just beginning to enter the Bemidji area, As we head through the rest of the night, we'll see those storms progress further and further east. And there also is a lot of lightning associated with these storms. That is not good news when it comes to the fire situation either, because lightning has caused all the fires that we've been talking about. So if we see any more lightning, and not much rain forecasted, that's not good news in regards to the fire situation. So here we are timing it out right now. 6 o'clock, you can see the storms just beginning to fire up in the western portions of our region. And they kind of stay there, say, for the next few hours or so. By 9 o'clock, this is where we're kind of talking about severe storm potential, where you see those dark shades of red. That's indications of heavy rain, possibility of hail, as well as strong winds. The good news is as they head further east, they really begin to weaken, probably entering the Twin Ports area between, say, 11 o'clock, midnight, and the 1 a.m. hour. By the time they get here, maybe the shot of a stray severe storm or two, but I think we're talking about generic thunderstorms to heavy rain showers in place then. By 9 o'clock tomorrow, though, as you can see, most of us are dry already, just scattered rain showers and clouds overhead. And by tomorrow evening, we are talking about mostly sunny skies prevailing, and those sunny skies will stretch right through into Sunday as well. As far as how much rain we're getting, there is not good news about the rainfall, because this really will not put a dent into our current drought situation and really not help us with the fire situation either. Most of us talking about in Minnesota, a few 1/100ths of an inch, even down northwest Wisconsin as well as the UP of Michigan, a few 1/100ths of an inch of rain down there. Off to the west, you can see they're a little bit better, like Bemidji coming in over an inch, Big Fork maybe just about half an inch. But there is not good news when it comes to the rainfall situation. What we're also worried about is the winds for tomorrow, because we're talking about winds gusting up to 30, 35 miles per hour. That could really blow up any fires. The good news is they don't last all that long. They're quickly out of here by Sunday. And here's how that 7-day forecast shapes up. We have that AM threat for a shower tomorrow. We dry things out for the afternoon. Sunday, we're looking cooler, 74 degrees, and that cooler weather stretches right through into next week.
All right, thanks, Peter. Well, here's a live look at Bayfront Park tonight, where this weekend it will be home to Art in Bayfront Park. More than 100 artists will be showing off their jewelry, paintings, photography, glasswork, and much more. The event will be open from 10 to 5 tomorrow and 10 to 4 on Sunday. Well, a big annual fundraiser for the Boys and Girls Club is canceled this year. Grill Wars won't be happening at Bayfront Park. The Boys and Girls Club of the Northland says some of the restaurants that normally take part can't this year due to staffing shortages. They didn't feel there were enough restaurants able to grill to serve the number of people who usually attend. Grill Wars is an important annual fundraiser for the club, which relies on donations to fund programming for local youth. Well, Kelly is here for a look at what's going on in sports. I hear,
you know what?
Something might be happening in Wisconsin.
The first night of high school football.
Very exciting.
It's here, Kristen. Coming up next, it's the state of Wisconsin. Teams are amped and ready to go. We'll have more coming up next.
This show is about connection. Not even 2020 and socially distancing ourselves are going to get in the way of that.
The Kelly Clarkson Show on CBS3. CBS3 Live Cams, brought to you by KohlerChef.com. Now featuring the Kohler Express Deal online buying solution. KohlerChef.com, a better way to buy.
Do you have a family history of heart attacks? Are you a heart attack survivor? If you answered yes to one or both of these questions, then this message may save your life. No magic pills or potions, just pure science and early detection. If heart attacks run in your family, or if you're a heart attack survivor, you're more likely to develop a second one due to your unique genetic makeup. That's why you need an easy-to-use heart attack genetic test kit. The absolute truth of it is, this genetic test kit may save your life. Call right now to get your test kit mailed directly to your home. If you're on Medicare, you can have this test done at little to no cost. Call now to qualify in minutes. With early detection, you can take action to help prevent suffering from a heart attack. Call the Heart Attack Screening Helpline at 800-299-9598. That's 800-299-9598. Because there's so much more life left ahead of you.
Skilled trade workers are the backbone of every community, and also the Army National Guard. Soldiers get paid training to keep the power flowing, engines running, and supplies moving. Army National Guard soldiers are learning skills that can set them up for success with companies looking to hire the best.
The Army National Guard basically built my resume for me.
Find out how you can learn a trade and serve part-time for your community and country by visiting NationalGuard.com.
Epilepsy can affect anyone with a brain.
It does not discriminate.
If you have a brain,
You can get epilepsy.
But here's something that's just as important to know.
anyone with a brain can affect epilepsy.
So let's use our brains to do just that.
Let's change the way people think about epilepsy.
To find cures.
Because if all of us can get epilepsy,
All of us can end epilepsy.
We just need to use our brains.
Let's use our brains. Let's use our brains.
Let's use our brains to end epilepsy.
Is being challenged by DFL.
The race is on. Learn how Berkey 2021
Is it safe to be ice fishing on Lake Superior?
New funding is bringing more mental health resources.
Dave Anderson.
How a popular new recreational area is allowed.
Hear how one vaccination clinic in West Duluth is focusing
into the COVID-19 pandemic, and food insecurity is still new year, new ownership.
To stay up to date with the news and weather that impacts you and your community, join us weekdays for CBS3 Live at 5.
I got into journalism when I was in high school, actually, and that's where I really fell in love with the news and the storytelling aspect of it. Being able to bring those things together and keep people informed. It's so important for us to be in a community like Duluth, to be able to hear your stories and then bring them to everybody else in the community.
Watch Caitlin and Jenna in the morning at 5 and 6 a.m.
The CBS Evening News with Nora O'Donnell. Weeknights on CBS.
The day is finally here. Within the hour, the Wisconsin high school football season will officially kick off over in Superior. It hasn't been that long of a wait, though. The Spartans last played this spring for the WIAA's alternate season, which ended back in May. So they jumped right into summer workouts and then right back into football season after just 2 months off. Well, tonight they're matched up with a formidable non-conference opponent in Ellsworth. They'll turn to a new quarterback this season in junior Carson Gottlieb, along with seniors Ross Rivard and Jordan Goldfein in the backfield. As for the trenches, they have some returners with some big ideas.
Pancaking. I want to knock as many guys over as possible.
I love it.
We'll be less rusty than the other teams for sure. I'm excited. Senior season, here we go.
I love the way that we responded last spring, and we've talked to the kids this year now about hitting the ground running and picking up where we left off and keeping that momentum going. And so far early on here, that's been the way it is.
Kickoff between the Spartans and the Panthers is set for 7 o'clock. And further down Highway 2, a rivalry is being renewed for the first time since 2018. The Northwestern Tigers will take on the Ashland Oredockers after a few years off due to conference realignments. The Tigers enter tonight's matchup looking for redemption after they felt like they left something on the table last season. COVID-19 complicated their season, and they slid down from the top of the Heart of North Conference. They'll be led by junior quarterback Luke Sedin, and they take on a Parker Goudreau and the Oredockers.
It has potential to be a really huge game. It's a rivalry game, a game we've missed the last few years, and that, quite honestly, suiting sophomores through seniors, none of these kids have experienced. So a little Highway 2 rivalry is something they're hungry for and excited to build towards.
Northwestern has not lost to Ashland since 2007, taking their last 11 matchups, but Coach Travis Larson and the Oredockers are hungry to end that streak. Kickoff in Ashland is set for 7 o'clock. We'll have highlights from that matchup tonight at 10. And elsewhere, Hayward will open their season with a non-conference game against Osceola, while Spooner is on the road taking on Prescott. Again, we'll have highlights coming up tonight in the CBS3 News at 10. And the IIHF Women's Worlds are underway in Calgary with a number of UMD current players and alum representing their countries. For Team Canada, All-American defenseman Ashton Bell and former All-American defenseman Jocelyn Lerock laced up. We'll have a final score from that game tonight. And tonight, Team USA will take the stage against Switzerland. Former UMD goaltender Maddie Rooney is sidelined for Women's Worlds. Puck drop is at 8:30 p.m. on NHL Network. And after 15 years in the net, Henrik Lundqvist is calling it a career. The goalie made his announcement on Twitter saying it's time. Ken Henrik was a 5-time All-Star with the New York Rangers and won the Vezina Trophy as the league's top goalie back in 2012. He signed with the Washington Capitals this past offseason, but never played after undergoing heart surgery back in January. He's the franchise leader in nearly every goalie category, including wins, games played, and shutouts. And be sure to tune in at 10.
Yes.
High school football will be on your screens.
Wow. Very exciting.
So exciting, man. And fans back in the stands. It's a good time to be a sports fan.
It sure is. Thanks, Kelly. Well, Peter, is it a good night to go out to a football game?
Depends on where you are.
All right.
Wisconsin, you're probably good until about 2 a.m. Other places, maybe just not so much. And we're tracking out that severe weather threat for you right now. As you can see, best shot at severe weather is off to our west in that area highlighted in yellow, where they'll probably begin to see storms already begin to pop up, and that will last through about 9 o'clock. For areas highlighted in green, we're probably talking about storms entering the area between about 10 and midnight. A little bit less of a severe weather risk there. Highest threats for these storms are damaging hail as well as possibly strong winds. And you can't rule out at this point a tornado or two, but that appears to be highly unlikely. And the 7-day forecast shows we have that rain threat tonight, but we quickly dry things out for tomorrow. And that dry weather really sticks around for the next week. And take a look at those temperatures. We're much cooler of temperatures in the 70s.
Well, thanks for joining us. We'll see you at 10.